So my name is Sylvia Pivko, and I'm the Executive Director of Blue Hills Child and Family Center. I'm also the chair of the ASD Partnership and have been very proud to hold that role since the beginning.
My name is Cindy Buick, and I'm the parent of a teenager. I have a 17-year-old son with autism.
My name is Linda Beadham, and I'm mother to Eric, a 29-year-old living in York Region with autism.
My name is Neil Walker. I'm the project manager for the York ASD Partnership, and I've been contracted to help the partnership implement their strategic plan.
I'm Tracy Mansell, and I'm from Carey's Place Autism Services, and my position is a director for Central East Region, which includes York Region, and my focus is on our community outreach.
My name is Jackie Buchanan. I am the parent of a 19-year-old son with autism.
My name is Barbara Duncan. I'm principal on assignment with student services with the York Region District School Board.
So I'm Umberto Chalupica. I am a pediatrician who works in the Developmental Assessment and Consultation Services Clinic, which is one of the clinics that is part of the Children's Treatment Network of Simcoe York.
How did the York ASD Partnership come to be? What challenges exist in York Region that prompted the need for the York ASD Partnership?
Back in very early 2006, our alarm bells were sounded by both boards of education as well as many service providers. In fact, at that time, they identified the need or a gap for children with dual diagnosis, developmental delay, and mental health, and also for children on the spectrum. They both kind of emerged at the same time. And parents as well had reached frustration levels in terms of being able to access the service system.
Over the years, we've had challenges, and I've been frustrated with some parts of the system where there's been no centralized information source or navigation. Gaps in services, service eligibility, that definition sort of is a moving target sometimes, and sometimes you get service and sometimes you don't.
In some cases, we were actually denied access to services due to their criteria.
So we really needed, as families, to find a way of getting consistent, clear, accurate information as to what to do next.
So the York ASD Partnership actually came to be at a moment in time in early 2006 when many service providers, and in particular both boards of education in York, suddenly identified the need that they weren't able to access the right services for the students and for the children and youth that were being served by other agencies. It was like a tipping point. It kind of everybody recognized the gap all at once.
I've been in a parent volunteer organization for over 10 years, and I know in my time in that role, I've been active in community partnership tables, and I think what was happening was that there were different community tables or committees that were working sort of simultaneously on things, and we needed to all come together and look at big picture.
We were fortunate to hire a consultant, Susan Taylor Simpson from ProAct Ideas, who facilitated us in creating the strategic plan that we're working on now. And part of that process included 2 community days where we invited as many community members and stakeholders to give us feedback around their experience serving children, youth, and adults on the spectrum, and also many families who had numerous challenges in accessing services for their children. We're very fortunate to have over 20 organizations participating, as I said, in this incredible way, along with many parents who have made an incredible commitment to attend multiple meetings on a consistent basis.
The partnership currently has about 60 individuals who are part of the partnership working on a variety of working groups in addressing the mandates of our partnership. But that number certainly is growing on a day-by-day basis.
What will look different in the future as a result of the work of the York ASD Partnership?
I think the greatest hope is that we will have a system that can respond knowledgeably to families and individuals with an autism spectrum disorder when they need supports and services in York Region.
What I'm hoping to see is that the individuals will have services based on their needs and not on a one-size-fits-all approach. that it will be, families will be more included in the services that are being offered to the individuals, will be part of the team.
Well, individuals with ASD should be able to access those services with greater ease and with greater speed. By working in a collaborative partnership, what we've all opened up is greater communication between the services. And when you've got that greater communication, you have the opportunities to create a more coordinated level of service for our individuals with ASD. And when you have coordinated services, then the transition between those services will be enhanced as well.
As a result of the ASD partnership, the whole service system will look totally different. And if I can help people understand that this is charting the course not just for services for children, youth, and adults on the spectrum, but also because we're doing systems change, it's going to impact on other services like children's services, for example. If we're going to coordinate access for children, youth, and adults on the spectrum, once we've experienced that ability to do so, it's minutes away from doing that for the children's sector as well. So the work of the ASD partnership is groundbreaking in and of itself for its own population that it's focused on, but it will have ripple effects on every other service system that works with children and youth and adults.
Why is it important for you to be part of this initiative?
So I work in a children's mental health center that traditionally hasn't had the tools or the information to really work effectively with families that have children and youth on the spectrum. Many of those children and youth have mental health problems and issues, and we haven't been able to serve them well. So my hope is, as a result of this initiative, my agency staff will be better trained, better informed, and we will be able to serve many more children and youth on the spectrum than we currently are.
So CTN's philosophy is one of partnership and collaboration. CTN is the Children's Treatment Network, and its goal was to try and coordinate services for children that have physical or developmental needs in York Region. And in our role as the diagnostic clinic, we are often the point of contact for families when they are receiving their diagnosis for the first time. So it's a pivotal point for families, and we want to be able to get families started on a strong footing in terms of the next steps for themselves and their children. And so having clearer connections between service providers and having a better understood pathway for all involved will help parents navigate the system once they receive their diagnosis.
Carey's Place Autism Services is the largest agency in Canada that provides supports and services to people on the spectrum of autism. So it's very important for us. We've already recognized that there's no way that Carey's Place can do everything for everybody who have a diagnosis on the spectrum. So it's made our work stronger when we have the ability to do collaboration and work with partners.
Because I'm a parent of a teenager and we've been in the system for 15 years, so I've got some experience in knowing the kinds of things that did work and didn't work and perhaps why. So I think the parent voice is really important as part of this process, and parents are really encouraged by the fact that we've been included in the partnership work and the changes that will be happening in York Region.
What is unique about this partnership?
So what I think is really unique about this group and what they're trying to accomplish is that it's been a grassroots development. It hasn't been something that government has handed down to them and asked them to implement.
It was community coming together. It wasn't a mandated change.
This is the first and only initiative that I've experienced where there has been 100% commitment from all of the participating organizations.
They've committed an enormous amount of time to planning these system changes. They've committed dollars to making it happen, and they've signed letters of agreement that whatever this group comes up with as the plan for improving the system of supports for people with ASD in York Region, they will implement it and abide by it.
Also, this initiative has included parents in a fundamental way.
Parents are actually a part of the process, and that we aren't just an afterthought, and that our concerns and our issues are actually being considered and addressed?
To my knowledge, York Region is the only area in the province of Ontario where all of the service provider agencies, plus ministries, plus families are working together to implement change.
So we're not just talking about developmental services, we're not just talking about mental health services, and we're not just talking about education. We have everybody sitting at the table.
And it's something that I don't think has happened just quite like this anywhere else in the world. So it's exciting that we're really we're breaking new ground in this kind of development, and it'll be exciting to see how, as the plan develops and the changes turn into reality, what that does for the system of community supports.
How will the changes being designed by the York ASD Partnership make a difference for you?
Prior to becoming involved with the Children's Treatment Network and now the York ASD Partnership, much of what I was doing was quite siloed. I would work independently in my office and not have a lot of interaction or communication with the other community service agencies and the other partners in the system. Being part of the York ASD Partnership is exciting because it offers an opportunity for me to benefit from working with other clinicians with different backgrounds. It also gives me an opportunity to impart my knowledge to other providers. And for families, I think that this will be an important step towards streamlining services that are available to them, increasing capacity in the system, and making it easier for families to navigate the system.
I think what the partnership is planning will make a difference for families in that they're not going to be as frustrated trying to access services, trying to figure out what services are available to them, and they're not going to be as frustrated having to repeat their stories over and over again to every service provider that they approach. I think for the service providers, it's going to mean a lot more communication with one another. They'll be a lot clearer about what each of them is providing for each individual family. And part of the plan is to introduce an electronic record and a single plan of care so that every agency's service component will be recorded for every agency to be able to access and be clear on what that family's needs are and what component of those needs they're meeting.
I'm thinking that bottom line, we'll feel better supported as a family, and we can just be like a regular family. That's really what it means for me.